let's address the snow bunny madness for a quick minute. And when I say snow bunny madness, what I don't mean is brothers who have found that their sexual tastes and their beauty aesthetic leads them to white women. All right. That's not the snow bunny madness that I am referring to. I'm referring to the obsession that the rest of us have over these men's choices. Um, and I say the rest of us because, as it happens, my particular personal taste is for black women. But that's easy for me to say. I have never experienced a restricted access to black women that I have a romantic interest in. So for me, I don't know what that experience is that some of them have cited when they are foolish enough to try to explain themselves. That's one of the things that you hear frequently. Well, black women didn't like me, or they called me ugly, or they called me black, or whatever the situation may be. First of all, they don't owe anybody an explanation about anything, but when they do, you hear that a lot. Well, that's not my lived experience, so I couldn't draw upon that. Some of the most insightful and committed and just baseline intelligent voices that I hear on a somewhat regular basis discuss this matter with startling frequency. The obsession over what these guys are doing in their own intimate lives is troubling. It really is when you consider the seriousness of the matters that we're facing, the gravity of the situation is demanding more of us right now than that. And quite frankly, we cannot afford to ostracize or alienate one another at any time, but especially at a time like this, where for the first time in most of our lifetime, black people in America had a government that was actively adverse to their uplift, their uprise, their inclusion and all of that. That's where we are now. So if you think that we can afford to push anybody away who isn't doing anything objectionable to us other than loving somebody that we ourselves would not love, stated plainly, we have been some silly motherfuckers. Very, very silly. And I say that, without any hostility. Yes, there's judgment in there, but it's not hostile judgment. It doesn't make you a silly or foolish person, but it does mean that you're doing a silly and a foolish thing, particularly when the men that we most love and celebrate in our culture, and we should, have all engaged in bunny hopping or whatever you may decide to call it. From Martin Luther King when he was in graduate school, to Malcolm X when he was in the school of hard knocks, to Frederick Douglass once he emancipated himself and became free to do whatever the hell he wanted to do. One of the things he chose to do was that, okay? But he was free to do that, as are all of the brothers now who are doing it. To those brothers, I have a simple message. That's your choice. However, if you're adding to that choice by putting down, denigrating, insulting, or attempting to attack the value of black women, that is a problem that you should fix if you want to have anything resembling a healthy and a normative relationship with your brothers and sisters. Okay. And I say that intentionally, brothers and sisters. We need to see each other that way if we have any hope of getting out of this shit that we're in now and coming out, frankly, unscathed and hopefully ahead of where we were when it started. That can happen, but it can't happen if we stay in silly season. We have to graduate from that kind of shit. There was a time when I understand it made sense to think about, well, if all black men would just pour into all black women and we have, I get that, but that time has long passed. People are just loving whoever they can find that really makes it work for them, and that's it. So if our political movement is resting on the sexual proclivities of our brothers and sisters, we're fucked, because it just doesn't work like that. People are not going to change what turns them on. An erection will not be achieved over politics. Okay, that's the most sensitive and most personal thing that there is. So a dude is not, if he got any damn sense, going to change who he wants to squeeze based on somebody else's political agenda. And if your political philosophy or your agenda is resting upon that, you don't have a philosophy, you have a fantasy. And it's a dark fantasy at that. Because if there's one thing that evil men always try to do, is control the sex lives of other people. I don't give a damn if you are in Nazi Germany. I don't care if you're Shaka Zulu. I don't care if you're a crazy extremist that wants to blow up buildings. Controlling other people's sex lives is a little tick that totalitarian-minded men have. And I say men because it's always men that take it to that level. That's something that we do. So the snow bunny madness needs to go if we are going to go forward. And if you're a brother that goes that way, don't be putting down sisters or whatever have you. Just do it. Do what you do. It's your business. But, you know, it does not need to involve that unless you really do want to be, you know, harmful to the community. And that is a separate discussion. That's freestyle politics. Peace.